Every New Year's Eve, the town gathers beneath a clock, frozen at 11:57. They say the cold snapped its gears, the winter Lena drowned. They say the repairman vanished. In a town like this, stories grow in the cracks where truth refuses to settle. Still, the clock stands over the square like a judge who never sleeps, its frozen hands accusing the sky. Lena returned 10 years later on another New Year's Eve, with the feeling that she was already too late. Snow dusted the rooftops, and the square was filling slowly. No one stood directly beneath the clock. They circled it instead, unconsciously respectful of its shadow. Lena checked her phone. 11:57. No signal. She turned it off and on again, her heart thudding faster than the cold warranted. A child nearby tugged on his mother's sleeve. "Why doesn't it move?" The woman smiled too quickly. "Some things don't need to." Suddenly, the air tightened. The wind cut out entirely, as if the town itself had inhaled and forgotten how to breathe. Conversations thinned, laughter died. Then the bell rang. It wasn't supposed to. The sound was low, wet, and wrong. It didn't echo, it lingered, pressing against ears and bones. One chime, people clapped uncertainly. Two, a few brittle cheers followed. By the fourth chime, Lena felt dizzy. The ground vibrated faintly, like something massive shifting below. By the 12th, no one was cheering anymore. The lights went out, not flickering, they were simply gone. The darkness had weight, texture, pressing against Lena's skin. Phones flared to life, illuminating faces twisted in fear. Then the phones died too. A voice rasped from the loudspeakers. "Happy New Year." The words scraped like rusted metal dragged across glass. The clock screamed, its frozen hands lurched forward, gears shrieking as if forced awake. The minute hand snapped to 12. The hour hand followed. As the clock struck midnight, the square changed. Buildings stretched upward, windows multiplying and darkening. The sky lowered like a lid being sealed shut, and the dead arrived. They stepped out of doorways that hadn't existed moments before. They rose from beneath the snow. A woman screamed as her husband, dead for 3 years, took her hand with a smile that showed too many teeth. A man dropped to his knees when his daughter, drowned in the river, blinked icy water from her lashes and said, "Daddy, it's cold." Lena couldn't breathe. She knew who she was going to see. She felt him before she saw him, the way guilt tightens behind the ribs. Her brother stood near the fountain. Eli looked exactly as he had the night she pushed him into the river. Same coat, same crooked grin, same bruise blooming along his temple. "You came back," he said. Her legs buckled. "You're dead." Eli laughed softly. "So are you." Around them, people reached for their lost loves. Some screamed when the embrace lasted too long, fingers sinking into flesh like wet clay. The loudspeaker crackled again. "Every year, you gather to celebrate time moving forward. But time is not free." The clock chimed again, deeper now. With the sound, a man collapsed inward, his bones seemingly removed. The darkness swallowed what remained. Screams erupted. People ran, but the streets curved back into the square. The doors opened onto brick walls. "The dead return," the voice said. "The living take their place." Eli stepped closer. His breath steamed unnaturally, frost creeping where it touched her skin. "It's your turn." "No," she whispered. "This is wrong." "I didn't mean you did," he said gently. "You let go." The memory surged her hands on his coat, the argument, the slick stone bridge, the river swallowing his scream. The town had searched for his body for weeks. They never found it. They found hers 3 days later, tangled in reeds downstream. Lena staggered back. "I died," she said. "I remember," Eli nodded. "And you stayed?" The clock chimed again. More people vanished. Lena looked around, suddenly seeing the truth. Too many pale eyes. Too many familiar strangers. The living were outnumbered. How long? She asked. Eli smiled sadly. Long enough that the town forgot how to end. The loudspeaker hissed, pleased. You are anchors. Regrets with names. You keep the past from drifting away. The clock loomed above them, immense and hungry. If we don't do this, Lena said, what happens? Then time collapses, the voice replied, and everyone stays. Eli held out his hand. Come with me. It doesn't hurt after the first year. The clock began its final countdown, not seconds, but names. Whispered memories, forgotten promises. Lena looked at the crowd, the woman clutching a husband who wouldn't let go, at the child slowly freezing in her mother's arms. She looked at Eli, then she looked at the clock. She ran, straight toward the tower. The shadows screamed as she passed through them. The stone beneath the clock split open, revealing a hollow interior packed with body slayers of townsfolk, preserved in frost and time. She climbed, hands bleeding, lungs burning. She reached the gears and threw herself into them. The clock shattered. Time screamed. The square collapsed into light. Lena woke on cold stone. Fireworks thundered overhead. Music blared. Her phone buzzed. 12:01 a.m. Happy New Year, she gasped and scrambled to her feet. The town was normal. The crowd was full. Eli stood beside her, alive, older, holding 2 cups of cheap champagne. Hey, he said. You're okay? She sobbed into his coat, clutching him like an anchor. Later, as the crowd thinned, Lena noticed something else. The clock was gone. In its place stood an empty tower, hollow and dark. No one else seemed to notice. As they walked home, Lena glanced back. For just a moment, she saw shapes moving inside the tower, pressed against invisible walls, mouths open in silent screams. Her phone vibrated again. 11:57 p.m. The time hadn't changed. From somewhere deep inside the tower, a familiar voice whispered her name, and the town held its breath. Because the clock was broken, and this time, nothing was coming to save them. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for listening.